Hi everyone, I'm Ashti Sindhu and you're watching the Earthy Cookhouse, the most versatile plant-based cooking show on earth. Today, I want to share a vegan bolognese recipe with an easy cashew parmesan. So a bolognese is typically a meat-based sauce that originated in Italy and people love to eat it with spaghetti and lots of cheese. This recipe uses Borges spaghetti, which is made from 100% durum wheat and is a great source of protein and fiber. The sauce is made from soy granules, which are also a great protein source and so easy to find anywhere in India. For this recipe, we will need some Borges cooking olive oil, 3 onions, 2 carrots and some celery. The combination of these 3 veggies is called a mirepoix, which is a French culinary term. And a mirepoix is basically a mixture of diced vegetables, most often carrots, onion and celery, which is cooked in a fat for a long time without coloring or browning. Very different from our Indian cooking technique where we normally brown the onions for almost every recipe. Just remember that the ratio of the onion, carrot and celery will be 2:1. So onions will basically be twice the quantity of the carrots and the celery. And then we have 8 to 10 garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme. I love using fresh herbs, but you can always use dried herbs too. If you're using dried herbs, then the quantity will be 1 teaspoon dried herbs for every 1 tablespoon of fresh. Some salt as per your taste, 1 bay leaf, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast. Now most vegans know what nutritional yeast is, but for those who don't, nutritional yeast is not an active yeast that helps in rising, but it lends a nice cheesy flavor to dishes. If you haven't tried cooking with it, I highly recommend it. Then we have some freshly ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Tomato paste is very different from tomato puree as it has a very intense tomato flavor and a little bit goes a long way. Half cup of dry red wine. You can use any old red wine that you have lying around. Wine is a really great ingredient that adds acidity and flavor to a dish. I especially love it in sauces and stews. The alcohol gets evaporated while cooking and you're left with this complex umami flavor. 2 vegetable stock cubes with 3 cups of water, which is in this bowl. We have half a cup of masoor dal, which has been soaked for about 4 to 6 hours. 300 ml of passata Italian tomato sauce. Some fresh parsley. In a pan, heat some Borges olive oil. Once the oil is hot, add in the carrot, the onion and the celery with a pinch of salt and cook this on a low heat. Make sure the heat is at low to medium and keep stirring so the vegetables don't brown. The idea is to make sure that you don't caramelize them. Okay, now that the vegetables look done, the onions are nice and translucent and you have a nice aroma of all the vegetables. We're going to add in the garlic. The fresh thyme and the dried oregano. Mix and let this cook for a few minutes. Once you can smell the thyme and the garlic, I add in the tomato paste and cook this until the tomato becomes dark red in color. The tomato paste is well combined and looks like a dark red color. That's when I add in the red wine. Cook the red wine for a few minutes until the smell of alcohol has burned off and the mixture looks nice and jammy like this. Now pour in the vegetable broth and stir well. Now we add the lentils. The walnuts, nutritional yeast, 1 bay leaf and the Italian passata sauce. Now heat this mixture until it comes to a boil and then reduce the heat to medium to low and cook for about 20 minutes. Now that the mixture is boiling, I cover it and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Just make sure you keep stirring it every few minutes. I'm adding a pinch of sugar. This just cuts the acidity of the tomatoes. Now that the sauce is almost done, this is what it should look like. I have some chopped parsley here and I'm going to be adding it onto the dish. Cook this for a few minutes and your dish is done. Okay, now that the bolognese sauce is done, I've put the spaghetti to boil and now let's make the cashew parmesan. For the cashew parmesan, I need 3/4 cup of raw cashews, some nutritional yeast, salt and garlic powder. Okay, so let's start. In a food processor, add your dried cashews, nutritional yeast, salt and garlic powder. That's the salt and some garlic powder. Now blend this until you have a coarse mixture. Make sure not to over blend this. So I just do it in short bursts. I just wanted a slightly more, like a little smaller, so I'm going to do it again. Okay, so I think it's almost done now. So this is the texture you're looking for. It's like a fine crumb, kind of coarse as well. Okay, now this is the sauce and it's all ready. It's time to taste the dish. Smells so good. Just gonna garnish it with some parsley. And here we have the cashew palm. I'm just gonna add a little bit. Okay, it's time to taste. I'm so excited. This is so good. This tastes exactly like my childhood. I remember having this dish and I think my mom would make it for me. And honestly, this tastes even better. I really hope you try this recipe and I think you're gonna love it. So after you try this recipe at home, you are definitely going to be more confident with plant-based cooking. See you in the next episode of Earthy Cookhouse, where I will veganize yet another surprising dish which will blow your mind. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to Earthy Cookhouse. See you!